Good evening, everyone. Hope you had a fantastic day. Today, I am joined by Ryan Rebar of Busy Busy. Busy Busy is one of the number one time tracking apps on the market today. It's been a long day, so I do apologize. Stumbling over my words there, but yes, it's a number one time tracking app that's available out there right now. I encourage you guys to check it out. We actually had Ryan on about it was about 2 weeks ago. Ryan, I
Yeah,
think
something
so.
like that.
Yeah, and Ryan talked a little bit about how all the features of Busy Busy. Well, today he is going to kind of give us a more in-depth look into Busy Busy and kind of give you a behind-the-scenes tour, so you actually see how to actually use it and how easy it is. But before we do that, Ryan, thanks for jumping on. And you mind just talking about Busy Busy and what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on here. So busy, we are a mobile time tracking app specific for construction companies and specific even for um, landscape and especially people that are moving dirt. In fact, our founder Isaac Barlow, and he's our CEO. He started busy about 10 years ago, and he started it. It's one of those Shark Tank stories, if you will, where he was looking for better job site information to be brought to the office in an automated way, and he couldn't find anything. So he decided to build his own software. So we're a time tracking software built by contractors for contractors. And like Scott said, wanted to just walk through um, some of the fundamental features of the app here. Uh,
And just one
Sorry,
thing,
go ahead.
and say one quick real thing I want to say, if you guys have any questions about the software, just post your comments or questions in the comment section and we'll get them answered along as we go.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And can you see my screen okay?
Yep.
Awesome.
There we
And one of the things is specific reasons, and we talked a lot last time about job costing and about the ideas of doing a software time tracking. And one of the reasons I wanted to specifically look at and show some of these fundamental pieces is because it's generally a concern, especially for companies that are using paper time cards, is will my employees use it? And that's something that we've spent a lot of time on, again, as a construction specific time tracking software, is making it as simple as possible, because we know if it's not simple, employees won't use it. And so right here, I've got my screen here. And sorry, Scott, were you going to say something?
No, go ahead. That's You're fine.
Awesome. So I've mirrored my app here onto my computer. And so we have a couple of different ways to track time here. And the one I'm going to show today is an employee tracking time for themselves. And we'll go through all the different types of ways to track time and different features as we continue to do these Facebook Lives or live videos on multiple platforms here. But the one today is an employee tracking time for themselves. So as an employee, I just go ahead and hit clock in. And then what's really cool is it's customizable in however an employee wants to track time, or however an employer wants their employees to track time. So I can select the project, so I can do job costing, and then I can get as granular as the cost code. So for example, if I'm doing some rough grading, I can select rough grading. I can even select an equipment as well. And I'll just grab an example piece of equipment here. And I can go ahead and clock in. And the bottom time is my total time clocked in for the day, and the top time is my total time clocked in for the specific project I'm working on. And then I can go ahead and go on break. I can end my break. I can switch from job to job. So if I'm done at this Tyler Avenue job, I'm going to the River Road job, and I can go ahead and say I'm even going to drive over there, as well as updating that piece of equipment. I can even update the hour meter on that piece of equipment. And this is customizable, so whatever equipment you're using, you can put in here. And I can go ahead and clock in, and it switches my time and starts me over. And one of the nice things there is that we have companies that do all different ways of tracking their time. So we have companies that only want to track by the job, by the project. Some want to track by project and cost code, and some want to use project, cost code, and equipment. And our onboarding process is really smooth and easy, where they'll walk through and help customize the app exactly how a company would use it.
I do love the fact that you can actually track the equipment and the employee as well. And I like how you can track the drive time too, because that's the one thing we always talk about in our academy is make sure you're charging for that drive time, because if you're not, you're just losing money. So if you can clock it, you can track it. It makes it much easier to figure out what you need to charge.
Exactly. And we even have, I was talking to a landscape company the other day, in fact, who they would bill right off of this reporting. So they would just come into this reporting, and I can just come grab a project here just to show an example. And they would come in here and they could run and bill this off of, you know, their hours spent on the project. And they could even come in here, depending on if they were billing for equipment time in a different way, they can come in here and see what equipment was used on the project, as well as the total time spent. So makes it really simple that way as well.
That's very cool. Now, does it also too, it when you if a employee leaves the job site or just comes to the job site, it'll also hop on your phone and say you're in this area or out of the area? Is that correct?
It will, yeah. We have some GPS features, so you can put a geofence around a project, and as an employee drives into that project geofence, it will ping their phone saying, "Hey, looks like you're at the River Road job. Would you like to clock in?" And as they leave, it would ping them saying, "Hey, looks like you're leaving the job site. Would you like to clock out?" And that makes it really, really easy if they, especially getting that muscle memory of using the app.
So, Ryan, I'm not sure if you can see that, but somebody asked, can an employee manually add the time in if they forget to clock in for something?
And that's a great question. It's a perfect segue into what I was going to show next, which is the ability to clock out here. And so when I come to clock out, and to answer that question, it's whatever you want it to be. Again, with that onboarding process, that onboarder would help set up the tiers of what you want your employees to be able to do. Do you want them to be able to edit their own time or not? And so in this daily sign off, so most companies, they don't want their employees to be able to edit their own time. But this daily sign off makes it really easy. If they forget to clock out or forget to clock in, is right here is in this time accuracy question, is they can enter and say, yes, at the end of the day, my time was accurate, or no, because I forgot to clock in at 8 a.m., clocked in at 8:30. And that makes it really easy on the back end for an admin or an owner to come in and view that and adjust that time. And the first question on here is, are you injured? So capturing that daily health check is a big deal. In fact, I talked to a company the other day, and they had an employee that dropped an engine on his hand at home after work. He came into work and he faked the injury, and he ended up getting workers' comp. He ended up telling another employee that he had faked the injury for the workers' comp. They couldn't prove it because they didn't have anything like this. They didn't have a daily health check. And so it cost the company hundreds of thousands of dollars in their workers' comp claims went up, as well as they had to, their safety score went up as well. So they weren't able to get jobs that they should have been able to have. And so, yeah, this is just it's a really big deal, especially with companies using heavy equipment or anything where it's a more of a liability on the company. And then, did I follow the company break policy? Yes or no? And this is the one thing we can let employees do, is they can add their lunch break at the end of the day if they forget. So it makes it really easy for them if they forgot to go in and add that. And I'll go ahead and say my time was accurate, and I can go ahead and submit that, and I'm clocked out. And then last feature I wanted to show here, just showing the fundamentals here of what most landscape companies want to use when they're using busy, is this photos. So I can come in here, I'll take a photo just of my computer here, and I can leave a note here. And if I'm clocked into a project, it'll automatically assign it here. If not, I can come pick the project that I took the photo on, and I can go ahead and upload this. And that makes it really easy. The employees aren't texting in photos to the owner where they have to worry about losing that photo. Once that employee sends that photo through the busy app, it stores it, and we use Amazon's cloud services, so it stores that forever, and it ties it back to me as the employee that took that photo, and makes it really easy to come in here and filter by and find those photos. So I can even come in here and find it right here on my phone. So I can see the photo I just took, as well as all of the other photos that were taken today.
We have
In
another
fact,
question. Oh,
sorry,
sorry.
yeah, what was that? What was that other question?
Does it integrate with QuickBooks or any other invoicing software like Yardbooks?
So we have a direct API integration with QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online. Um, and then in terms of Yardbook, I'm not familiar with that one. The easy thing for us is that we can create an import integration as long as the software that you're using has an import capability.
Okay.
I was just going to
This,
share I had one good story on the photos and notes feature. There was a company I talked to the other day, and they've been using us for a while, and they had built a retaining wall a couple years ago, and they got a letter from an attorney saying they were being sued because their retaining wall collapsed and caused a bunch of issues with this homeowner. And they were able to go right into their busy app right here, just in the photos, and they were able to filter by the date range or by the project, and they were able to, like for example, the Highland Drive job, they were able to pull all these photos and send them right over to the attorney and say, hey, here you go, we did our job right. And they got a letter a couple weeks later saying, hey, thanks for sending those over. Clearly wasn't you, so we went looking elsewhere. Turns out a neighbor, when they were having a pool installed, one of the guys digging hit a pipe, put a rag in it, and kept going. And in fact, your retaining wall had been built so well it had kept uh, the water damage in the retaining wall up for an extra 2 years, where it should have collapsed earlier. Um, and so they're just the simple action of taking those photos at the beginning and end of each job ended up saving them tens of thousands of dollars in what would have been um, a big expense if they would have had to pay out on
heck yeah.
something that they didn't even do.
That's that's so nice. You just take the photo, like you said, and just store it, and then just pull it up later on, and that's great.
Yeah, again, it's all based on making it as simple as possible for the employees, because yeah, again, we know that if it's not simple, they're not going to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's like the biggest thing of always any software here is, how hard is it implemented? How hard is it,
Hmm.
for my employees to do it? Will my employees do it? That's another big one. Is
Yep.
do you guys have any suggestions on that to get your teams to kind of get on board to using some kind of software?
Sure, and we see all types of different ways, and um, I've talked to companies where they've even done some really fun, like, incentive programs in the short term, where they would do, like, every employee that has a perfect record of clocking in and out for the first week of adjusting to a software gets a $50 gift card to Cabela's or whatever it may be, where it's that short term, expense, small expense for that long term benefit of having their employees getting into a software. And like I mentioned, it's why we have that onboarding process, is that our job is to help you be successful, especially when we have a 90-day 100% money back guarantee. So we're betting on ourselves to make sure that you're successful in a way that yeah, we want to walk through the entire process of helping you set up your account, helping you do the training with the employees, and even helping with integrations like QuickBooks and making sure that first payroll runs smoothly. And so those are all things that our onboarding process covers to make sure that companies are successful.
That's that's perfect. How long does a normal onboarding take?
It depends on the speed at which the company wants to go. It's generally a couple weeks. It's a week to
Okay.
2 weeks.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty simple, um, and it just depends on what all they're trying to do and the size of the company.
Now, as a home, or I'm sorry, not a homeowner, as a business owner, they can see all this stuff live on their end too, from like a computer or phone as well.
They can, yep. So I got this dashboard behind me. So this is what an admin or an owner would be able to see on their computer. And so, like you just said, I can see who's clocked in right now, who's clocked out. So I mean, I can even click into here and see directly who's currently clocked in. And with that GPS feature, I can even come in here and I can see right where they're at. So
Nice.
I can see Brock's, he's in Indianapolis at a trade show right now, clocked into a project. He's only, what is he? He's only 1,300 miles outside of the project he's clocked into here in Utah. So that's not too bad. Um, we'll let that one go. Um, yeah, it is. It gives you visibility live into your company of where are people at. And here's even that daily sign off of, did someone have an inaccurate time? Is someone injured? Um, yeah, it gives a ton of visibility into even stuff like, how many hours have been worked this pay period by my employees, or labor costs for this pay period. So it does it gives a lot of information, and it gives it live. I was talking to a company the other day that the employees were texting in the time to the office admin, and then she would make a report based on their time per project on how much time was spent on each project. And then she would email that over to the owner. And we were having the conversation because what she was doing and spending a couple hours doing is something that we can do automatically. I mean, I can pull up this report right here and see exactly who has worked on this project, and I can filter that by day. I can come in here and see, by project, how many hours were spent on each project. I can click into it and see who worked on it. Because we're capturing that information, that time information as employees clock in and out, it makes it really easy and automates that reporting function.
Very nice. We have another question here. It says, weird question, but can an employee start a timer without attributing the specific tag or task to the timer? In other words, start the timer, then when they have a moment, tag the active timer with the task they're currently working on.
Got it. So can they, and so that, if I understand the question, it's can they clock in without actually attributing time to a project and then attribute it later? And it's one of those things that we can do, or especially we can have a supervisor do. It just depends on if they want to allow their employees to be able to adjust time or edit time. So if an employee has that ability, they can. But I mean, I'll show this one more time just to show if all they want is their employee to track time to a project, it really does. It takes 2 seconds. So I can come in here, nearby projects by GPS. I'll grab the River Road project, clock in. And so it really is, it's a couple of seconds to have them grab the project that they're on.
Very nice. Yep, that's what they said. That's what they're asking about.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Good. So they can. It just depends on what access they want to allow their employees to have. Do they want them to be able to edit time or not?
Now, do you suggest every employee have access to this, or just a foreman, or does it matter, or whatever the company business prefers?
It's exactly that. It's whatever the company prefers. So we wanted to build it in a way that allows them to run their business how they're running it today. So if they want a supervisor to track time for employees, so in the supervisor tools here, I can manage time for myself, Corey, and Aaron Rodgers here, and I can do it as the manager, and I can have the ability to add people or take people out of my crew. I can clock us all in, I can clock us out, I can switch us from job to job, take us on break for lunch. So I have the same functionalities that I do as an individual employee, but as a supervisor running my crew. And so it's very, very flexible, and however you're running time right now for your company is something that we can do. And they can even use multiple ways to track time. So with that one question of, can they attribute the jobs that they were on at the end of the day? That is something they can even do with a supervisor. So they can have all the employees just clock in and not attribute any time. And then they can have a supervisor come in here, and they can have the supervisor add the job costing at the end of the day with this job costing tool. And so I don't have anything, I don't think, on the no job costing here, but they'd be able to come in here and see there's a couple hours of work with no job costing. I can click into that and add the jobs that we were on during those times. So it makes it super simple.
Now, can you have material on there as well that they can track?
We can.
I knew that was coming out. I knew that was a new feature that was coming out from you guys.
We can, yeah. So it makes it really easy. Again, is that I can attribute whatever specific unit of measurement or whatever type of material I'm trying to track, I can attribute it here. So it's attributed to the cost code, and then it's a customizable unit of measurement. So for example, here, like with rough grading, it's cubic yards. And so I can come in here and I can grab even, for example, I'll just go ahead and grab, oh. And so this quantity is units, but that quantity is customizable. So it can be units. It can, if they're trying to track drive time, it can be miles of drive time. It can be square feet, cubic yards, linear feet, whatever they're tracking, and whatever specific cost code they want to track it to, they can.
Okay.
So I can go ahead and click done, and it submits that material used or work accomplished for that day.
Very
and
nice.
that's what's cool about it. It is customizable, and it's whatever they want to do. If it's tracking the individual material of how many plants did we plant on this yard, or how many cubic yards of dirt did we move. It works either way.
Very nice. Now, does it also do, because I know it has the stuff for like the GPS and mapping, can it tell the crews like how to get to the job too, like given directions, or is it?
It can. So, and it works through the schedule best. So you can come in here and you can schedule work out for a crew. And I can come in here, if I've never been to the job, I can pull this GPS up, and see, okay, here's the job, here's where it's at. If I've never been here, I can just go ahead and click on this, and it'll pull it up automatically for me on my my maps on my Apple phone.
Okay. Very nice. Any other features that it does that we didn't really go over?
I think that gets us. Yeah, I think that gets us pretty well covered in terms of the fundamentals here.
Okay. Let us know if anybody has any questions anywhere along the way. This is a very cool tool. I know I always see this question asked all the time inside our Facebook groups. What time tracking app do people recommend? And this is one of those ones that we really recommend. And it does a lot of features that some things just don't even consider, like especially the photos. So it's definitely something to check out. If you guys have any questions, definitely post them in the comment section. Even after the live is over, post them down. Just tag myself or $1 Million Landscaper, and we can. I'll talk to Ryan. We'll get you answered if I don't know the answer for you.
That's right. And don't forget, if it is something that seems like a fit for your company, and you have a conversation with one of our folks over here at busybusy, don't forget to mention $1 Million Landscaper for your free 3 months when you buy for the annual, which is the reduced priced.
Yeah, definitely take advantage of that. And with spring coming around the corner, many of us are going to be starting to work out in the field, or if you're not already, why not start doing it right now and start taking advantage of it, and just start the season off the right way and keep track of your times the best way you can. So check out this app, guys. I highly encourage it. Ryan, I appreciate you hopping in here. Anything else you wanted to add today?
Yeah, of course. And I think I'm good in terms of things to add, and yeah, excited to be partnered with the $1 Million Landscaper, and yeah, hope to continue to do these, and even break out into more, spend more specific time on different features as we go, and yeah, help answer questions. And like you said, it's the perfect time. We're hearing it a lot from companies right now, is they're trying to get these processes set up right now before they get into their busy season.
Yeah, I could tell you for many, many, many years, we just use pieces of paper, and those papers get lost. The crews don't keep track of it. It gets rained on, blows out the window. It just becomes a nightmare. So if you can have it on their phone, something they already carry with them, why not do it? And it just makes it that much easier for you to keep track of your time, to pay your people, to do your job costs and everything. So check it out, guys. You have nothing to lose. 3 months, at that price, you can't beat that.
That's right.
All right, Ryan. Well, I appreciate you hopping in here, guys. We'll be hopping in, doing these more often. Actually, Ryan and I have another one planned. I think it's in 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yep, that's right.
We'll be hopping in here. So if you guys have any questions now, post them below, or, feel free to hop in. We're going to be doing these more often. We're going to be doing more and more lives inside this group. So just feel free to hop in, ask questions anytime. All right, Ryan. Well, thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you here in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks, Scott. Thanks,
right,
everyone.
Guys. Yep. Have a good day. Bye-bye.